Hello, my name is Kathy James, and I am your host today. And I have the pleasure of introducing Marci Grossman, who is a certified public accountant and an expert in literacy education and a published author for Money Marci's Guide to Financial Literacy. Welcome, Marci.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, Kathy.
Awesome. I am excited to have you here as well. Thank you for agreeing to join me and sharing some helpful advice for our young leaders and the GFYA community. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the industry that you're in, if you don't mind.
Sure. So I've been a CPA for over 30 years, and I found the most enjoyable part of what I did was helping people to understand what was going on with their money and how the impact and understanding their tax returns and all of those things. And so throughout going as a public accountant and then becoming a controller in a nonprofit, I've left to write my book and really focus on helping people to expand their understanding of financial literacy.
Wow, that's awesome. So we talked a little while ago about why I'm so passionate about this topic, and specifically is because of the struggles that I had as a young adult, a young mother, and how extremely proud of myself that I am, now, a second time homeowner, despite all of that. I'm very low income and struggling as a, financially, and even having to rely on government assistance so I'm passionate about, spreading the awareness of literacy in finances. So I appreciate that. So you came with some tips today. Can we start with the first one and we can go from there?
Well, sure. So everything that you do financially that is going to help you get from here to there starts with knowing what you have and what you're spending, what's coming in, and whether you're ahead or behind on a regular basis. So I tell people to always start by working on their budget, because with that you can see, this is what I'm spending, this is what I'm taking in, this is what I expect to be happening in the future. And by doing that and by using that intentionally and regularly, it gives you the tools to start making the decisions that can get you to your bigger goals. Whether that is buying a home or buying a car or getting more education or training or whatever it is, you have to know what you have to be able to manage it to get to where you want to go. So that's the first thing. Whether people are talking about retirement or home buyer or raising a family or whatever it is, everything starts from there.
Do you happen to have a particular platform or resource that if a young leader has never developed a budget before, besides buying your book, because I think that's a great tool and a great resource to start, but is there a particular platform that you suggest that a young person might go to find a template for a budget?
Well, the nice thing is about budgets, you can actually go online and type into the search engine that you would like a budget worksheet, and dozens will show up online of downloadable forms. I particularly like the one that I developed for my website, which is free for anybody to go there and download. It's a Google Doc, which means it's available on any platform. You can continue to update it. And that's what it is I break it down into months. And so when January becomes actual, you can put in your real numbers. You can create, this is what I think my months are going to be. You can adjust the level of detail because you can add and subtract categories as you need to. It has room for various income. And because it's a Google Doc,
right,
you can continually edit it. Whereas if you print a piece of paper or you write it out on paper, it might be a little harder to add categories. So my suggestion is, whether you use mine or anything else, that you use something that you're going to find flexible. As your information changes, you can continually update it and not feel, oh, I got to start over again, or oh, I've got to whatever. So that's my recommendation on any of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I use Excel. for everything. But Google is, you don't have to have the Microsoft Excel suite with Google. It's free, and it has the same functionality. So
The nice thing is,
I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
so the nice thing is the Google spreadsheet that I use, you could download it and import it into your Excel, open it with your
Exactly.
Excel. LibreOffice also has open source, so they've got a document, a spreadsheet document that you can use and open
Mm-hmm.
it, and they are all compatible with each other. So you can start wherever you want. You can work in whichever format works best for you, whichever software you're most comfortable. And that's a great way to start. If the other thing I recommend is if you have your checkbook or your credit card receipts, your debit receipts, whatever it is that you use to spend your money, you can use a like Quicken or QuickBooks or Mint or any of the software packages that are out there. If you are always putting your income and spending in there, that will help you generate the reports you need.
Right.
So that you don't have to, oh, now I've got to go through and do all this stuff. If you just start using one of those to track your income and expenses as you spend the money, then you can convert that into the budget information, and you don't have to start from 3 years ago. You don't have to start from 5 months ago. You can start today,
Absolutely.
and start
Absolutely.
gathering that information today and not feel overwhelmed. Well, if I don't have 12 months worth, what's the point? Start today. Let today be the beginning of owning your money.
Yes. Yes. Because I went years, and we did not budget well at all. I mean, we literally paid paycheck to paycheck. There was no projections. No, there was no, hey, what are we, what's coming up, And if we did, it was not great,
But it
and
was something, and that's a great place to start, because then the
yes,
next day you do a little bit better, and the next day you
yes.
can do a little bit better. And that's okay to start from where you are.
Absolutely. I know about that all too well because this is why I'm passionate about it, and it's not about me, but I think that my story is a testament that it is possible. I struggled with even putting food on the table for the longest time. And we relied on the community churches to provide for us for a little while. And, but eventually, I got to the point where I said enough is enough. And I started to become a little bit more um, intentional about educating myself and how to manage my finances. And I just sought it out, because I wanted something more. And it's literally a decision. You can decide, I don't want that anymore. I want to grow and develop in this way so that I can have a different future for myself and for my family if I have one. So
That's fabulous.
yes. Can we talk about savings for a little bit? Yeah.
Absolutely. So a lot of times people, whether it's saving or investing, say, I don't have enough to make it worthwhile to start. And that's the wrong mindset, because I don't care if you're starting with a jar you keep in your closet and it's pennies you find in the couch cushions.
Right.
Start with something and then build it more, because this week you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to see if I can take $1 out of my paycheck every week. And if I can survive that without putting myself in bigger
Mm-hmm.
debt. And then say, okay, I could do that dollar. And whether this is a month or a year down the road, and you say, okay, you know what? Let's try to do $2, or
Right.
let's try to do $5. And it grows because now you've started that habit of starting to do something.
Yeah.
And something matters. Even the smallest something matters, because then it gives you something to build on. Because then you say, you know what? I did this, it wasn't painful, and now I've got a jar full of coins.
Yes.
Okay, let's make it a bigger jar. Okay, maybe I'm going to set my goal that I want it to weigh a certain amount, or I want it to be a certain amount of dollars. And you're setting goals for you that you feel, yeah, it's a little out of reach, but I can see it. It's not so far out of reach, it's impossible. It's just something I have to stretch for. And it's so huge to start that habit of saving,
Yes.
and to set goals for you that you feel are reachable, and to feel that achievement and to celebrate that achievement.
Yes.
That's the hugest thing, is, oh, well, it was only a small goal, and so I don't care what so and so has.
Right.
You celebrate your goals, you
Yes.
set your goals, and you work toward your goals.
Right.
It's very empowering.
It is. It's very empowering. And I love that you said celebrate, those small wins, because I'm huge on celebrating. I didn't understand what that was many years ago. And I remember a particular woman that I worked for was huge about celebrating. And I've fully embraced it. I don't care if it's just a dance in the middle of your living room. It's celebrate.
Right.
Take a pause and recognize, because it's those small wins that lead to those bigger wins. So I love that. I love that. When we talked a little bit earlier and we talked about the tips that you wanted to pass on, we talked about, or shared that we were going to, discuss resources and utilizing the community around us, friends, family. What do you suggest for the young adults there to, because I think for the longest time I was afraid to ask or even tell anybody about my situation. So I didn't ask for help. So I think that's vital.
It is vital to ask for help, and help doesn't mean you're asking for a handout.
Right.
Help means you are asking to share resources, whether it is information about a job, whether it is helping you to gain a skill set, or helping you to figure out how to gain a skill set to move forward. It's so important to make use of the resources. First off, people love being helpful.
Mm-hmm.
It feels so good when someone asks me for something and I'm able to help them.
Right.
And see them utilize it and see them improve whatever it is in their situation. My husband, because of his family background, knows how to hang drywall and do mud and tape. And when a friend asks him, hey, I have this small repair, I'm not going to call a carpenter, can you help me do it and teach me how and whatever else? I mean, he's a computer programmer. To go help someone with drywall is so flattering to him. And it connects him with information he learned from his father and his brother and
Yes.
that kind of stuff. And the same thing, whether it's a job related something or just personally that you know how to do, you are flattering your friend when you ask them for help.
Yes.
So don't think of it as if I ask, I'm just taking from someone. And there will be the time where you know something that they don't know, and they're going to come to you, and they're going to feel much more comfortable coming to you because you now have this give and take relationship. And it has to go from somewhere. Someone has to reach out the hand first to make it okay to reach out the hand back. So,
Right.
so be brave and give this gift to yourself and your friend, or your mentor, or your teacher, or the community resource that is there to expand and help. But it's important. My husband got his first programming job because a friend of his said, hey, by the way, he was still in college, both of them were, and he said, this place where I work part-time as a programmer is looking for another part-time programmer. Are you interested? So who gave who the gift? The friend looked good because he found them a good candidate, and Mark got his first job in programming. It's all of these things, and sometimes we get shy about asking because we think, oh, we're asking, they're going to think we don't have enough or we aren't enough, and that's not what it is at all.
Right.
And we have to remember that, and that's why these organizations exist.
Right.
That's a natural part of relationships that we build in life, and it's okay to access them and share ourselves.
Yes. Yes. And budgeting takes some discipline as well, right? And you have to make some tough decisions as well. So, it's important to make the decision, right? And
Everything is about making a decision and being intentional and knowing what you're looking for and taking the time to figure out, okay, this is where I am and this is where I want to go, and determine, okay, is this a money thing? Is this a knowledge thing? What is it that I need to do to get to my goal? I live by lists of goals. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. This is what I need to get to where I want to go and what I want to do. It's all it's all intention
Yes.
and awareness.
Yes, absolutely. So let's hear a little bit about your book, and then we'll transition into the second half of this recording, where we're going to get into a little bit more about your career path and how that looks for those that might be considering the same path. But for now, let's talk about your book.
Okay, so I left my position as a controller at a large faith-based nonprofit. I determined I was at a point in time where this book was inside of me and I wanted it to come out already. And I needed to make this a full-time venture for myself. So I left that and I started writing. And one of the most important things to me about the book is that people learn from stories and they learn from experiences. And that these needed to be true stories. This didn't need to be, oh, I'm going to create this story and this is what happened. And so I put out there on the internet and I said, I am looking for stories of financial challenges, victories, whatever else that you want to share. Mm-hmm. And so many of my chapters are built around the stories that people shared with me of financial challenges. And then I could go into kind of talking about, this is the financial literacy. And then there was the story that, okay, so this is what that means. Wow. And a lot of the book felt like it wrote itself. Just because, okay, this is something I want people to know. Oh, look, there's a story that really goes into that detail. So I can explain some of the technical aspects of it. And the other parts of it were explained, reiterated, whatever you want to call it, within the story that someone's told. And the book, the intention, I guess, when I was writing it was this would be for my sons, and as if I was talking to them and their friends about these money concepts that I felt were important to them. Right. And I wrote it at a lower level financial literacy knowledge base. Mm-hmm. I didn't write down to them because I think these are brilliant, wonderful, fabulous young people that just haven't had experience in the greater financial area. They wouldn't have bought a house yet. They may not have financed a new car yet, any of those kind of things. And so I wrote it to them as if I was talking to them. So a lot of the book, if you know me, if you've listened to this broadcast, you'll hear the way I speak, and and you can hear my voice reading the story to you. I'm actually working on the audiobook at this point. Nice. So you could actually even hear me reading it to you. And that's what I wrote it on, based on these things, based on that being my goal, and covering the concepts that I thought were most important for people to have familiarity with. I didn't go into the high level detail on all these things because this is for people that maybe never thought about how they should determine how to pay off their credit cards, what a credit report means, what a credit score means. Right. You know, all of these things that you might be making decisions on and have awareness on. And what was most flattering to me is when some of my friends my age read the book and they were like, you know what, I've always done this and it looks like I've always done it right, but I never understood the why. And when I read your book, I understood things better. And that was hugely flattering to me because it meant that I was reaching people at different levels. Yes. And that was hugely important to me. As I said, I'm recording the audiobook right now. I also took the time and the effort to put the book so that it could be accessed on library systems. That's good. So that's digital great. Libraries, they have, if your library is a part of Hoopla or Overdrive, you can request my book and you'd be able to download it to your phone and read it when you were trapped on a train or you know, a bus or just waiting at a doctor's office. You could read a chapter and it didn't have to be, well, that makes it not expensive at all since it's free and very accessible and convenient since you already had your phone with you. I really feel it's important for people to learn these concepts, and I want to make it as available as I can out there for people to be able to reach these.
That's awesome. Can you remind us what the name of your book is?
Sure. It's Money Marci's Guide to Financial Literacy. It is available in paperback and electronic at Amazon, and I think at Barnes & Noble it's electronic. Your library can get it. It's available as many places as I can think to make it available.
Great.
So hopefully
Awesome.
people will find it and read it and learn something. And I am always looking for more stories. So there's a link on my website for anybody who would like to share a story. It's totally anonymous because it's a form. So you're not emailing me. You can tell me your story. I'll never know who you are. And I would be thrilled to get more stories for my next book. I'm already starting to put things together for that.
Very cool. Very cool.
And
Yeah, I'll have to make sure that I go on Amazon and follow you so that I can be in,
oh,
and
yeah.
as well as subscribe to your website. I haven't done that yet. I meant to, so I apologize.
Oh, no worries. You know what? The nice thing is all the blog posts are there. You can play catch
Yes.
up anytime you want.
Yes.
Follow me on TikTok. You never know where I'll be shooting from or what I'll be saying. And
Apparently on a roof.
only twice so far.
That's awesome. And before we say our goodbyes, any other thoughts that you want to share?
I don't know if this group is mostly entrepreneurs or mostly employees.
A little bit of everything.
And that's awesome. Wherever you are, you can be an entrepreneur and then go be an employee. You can be an employee and then go be an entrepreneur. It's always an opportunity for you to take what you have and explore new things and find your passion. There's a world of opportunity, and you have to sometimes make your own, but they are out there to figure out what you want and go for it. I'm proud of all of you. Keep going.
Awesome. Marci, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to get buy your book, read your book, and pass it along to my boys as well. And I'm super excited about the knowledge that our audience is able to gain from this, and our new friendship, our new partnership. So I appreciate you.
Thank you, Kathy. I am so grateful to have been able to be here, and I appreciate you.
Yeah. Can you tell us where our audience can reach you at?
You can reach me on my website, which is moneymarci.com. And you can reach me at my email, which is marci@moneymarci.com. The Marci is with an I, and that makes all the difference in the world. I don't know where you'll end up if you spell it differently. And and I look forward to hearing from you with questions, with stories, with suggestions in whichever way you want to reach me. I'm looking forward to all the new relationships from this.
Awesome. Very good. Well, I appreciate you. All right, audience, this is our sign off. Have a great afternoon or day wherever you are. Bye.